Hey everybody, welcome to the new kids D&D tier list. Now most of you probably don't know, but I play Dungeons and Dragons. Actually, most of you probably do know, but I'm gonna be ranking every class. No, I've only have like 100 hours in playing D&D, so pretty low. I've only been playing for like 6 months. I haven't played every class, but I think I do have a good knowledge on most of them, so I think I can offer something valuable. Now we're gonna start with our first class here, Barbarian. All right. I'm gonna rate Barbarian here at good in everything. All right. Like actually, great in one or two things. Okay, explain, guys. They're really good at doing damage. And that's it. like they can't really cast spells. They're not really good at skills or anything. They don't have many extremely unique abilities. They can tank a lot of damage, they can do a lot of damage, and it's hard to hit them. They have a ton of resistances and all that. So I think that they should go there. Bard is going Jack of all trades, master of none. I haven't played Bard, right? But I have seen someone else play a bard, and I have heavily assisted them in it. And personally, it's not what I call the best class, right? They're really good with skills. That's something that they can do. Any skill, they can do it well, right? But I think they're just okay. At the top of the list, we're getting cleric. Clerics are insanely good in this. Now, I've heard stories of 2nd edition where clerics was like pretty good, but like most of the time people didn't want to play them. And these guys excel in everything. They have a spell prepared for every situation. They can choose from a bunch of different spell lists. They have a bunch of different things. They can become a fighter. They're just really versatile in what they can become. Then druids. I'm gonna say druids are good in everything. They're not the best. They don't excel in everything they do. They're really good when they're in nature and they can use other like creatures. But when they're in a town, like a place that they're not in good place with, then they're like uncomfortable. Then they're pretty bad. Well, not pretty bad. They're just like mediocre at best. Fighter. We're gonna go Jack of all trades. Behind the bard though. Fighters are just like the perfect multi-classing. Like if you're any of these classes, you should probably multi-class with the fighter. Cleric fighter combo is insanely powerful. It gives you free proficiencies, and you only have to do it like on 5 levels, and then you're good. You got everything you need, and you can just stop. Let's see. We got our next class, monk. Monks. I'm gonna put, if I'm ranking them in first level play, they're great in one or two things. But if I'm putting them up here, if I'm ranking them higher level plays, past level 5, they are good in everything, at least. Some might say they excel in everything, but I'd say good. I haven't done a ton of higher level play, but I think that the monks are incredibly good just because of stunning strike alone and being able to use key points in that system. So I think that they're good in everything, at least. Paladin. They're I'm gonna put them there. Okay, I have an explanation, right? Paladins, I've played one before. They're really good at smiting one thing. They're really good at single target assassinations, right? They can insta-kill about anything. Well, the only thing that they can't really do is, deal with, multiple enemies. Then their divine smite is immediately nerfed. Lay on hands is really good, so they have like a mini cleric heal or a mini second wind, right? But that's all they really have. They're really good. I'm gonna say ranger and sorcerer for last, by the way. Rogue excels in everything. Below cleric, but they excel in everything. Now, rogues have special abilities that other classes do. They can excel in damage. They can destroy and damage. They're really good at all skills. They're proficient at about everything that they have, right? And they're really proficient in some skills. They're all about skills and sneaking around. And they're actually pretty fun to roleplay, and they're my personal favorite class. But I do think Cleric is a stronger one. Now we got the Warlock. I've never played a Warlock. From the play I've seen, great in one or two things. They are really good and like being okay. That's what they're good at. They can cast like first level and second level spells like cantrips, but they're not really that strong compared to like clerics or fighters or rogues, but they are really good at what they do. They're great in one or two things. I'm gonna go with the wizard. Top of the list. Wizard has the most varied and powerful spell list out of every class in D&D. In most classes, when you take like an arcane thing, it's almost always the wizard spell list compared to any other thing. Like arcane trickster, you pick up the wizard spell list. Eldritch knight, you pick up the wizard spell list. It's never like sorcerer, warlock, or bard. It's always the wizard. Wizards can pick up their own spells. They can have the most spells out of any other class. They can have the most prepared. That goes to cleric. They're extremely good with dealing any scenario with all their spells. They have a ton of spell slots. There's nothing really holding them back except for their 1d6 health. But no, that's not holding them back. I don't think if you knew this, but back before 5th edition, during 2nd edition, their health used to be 1d4, and so was the rogues. So that most of the time when people played them, they had a multi-class with the fighter, making the wizard way less powerful, and like allowing it to have these super powerful spells, because you're basically a glass cannon. But now you can actually take some decent hits. If you spec your character right, you can actually get a wizard that can take 1 power word kill spell. So that's pretty strong. Now the last two, ranger and sorcerer. They're going in the bottom. I know what you're thinking. What? Bad / the best? What does that mean? These two form the most powerful combo in all of D&D. Now I know what you might be thinking about. Wait. But I thought you said wizard, clerics, and rogues had the most versatility. Rangers are really good at skills and tracking things down. They're really good at single target assassination like all the other guys. Sorcerers are really powerful spellcasters. They have a lot of cantrips, and so they can cast more weaker spells like the warlock. And if this guy's good at single target assassination like the paladin and barbarian, and they have the skills and they have the proficiencies of a fighter and the skills of a rogue, and they can surpass, have like a really high armor class if you take the draconic ancestry, because that's a 13, and then you want to spec in dex because you're a ranger. So that means you are unstoppable. All the other classes pale in comparison to this combo. This combo is extremely powerful. I've only used it once for one session, like 30 minutes. Didn't even find anything. No, but think it. So you don't even know how powerful it is. Yes, I do. I have checked the stats on this thing. Basically, I can I have an 18 armor class wearing no armor. I have a +5 to my initiative. That's because I have a 20 dex. But I am broken. And I can cast spells. And it uses my charisma modifier. And you always have a high charisma modifier. And I can use 2nd level spell slots that I got from being a ranger. So you spec mainly in the ranger, and you can like sorcerer up to like 9th level, and then ranger in the 11th. Then you are the best at everything. Like wizard? Oh yeah, I can cast 9th level spells. I can insta kill you with the sword. Garbage. Cleric, I can heal a lot. I can do that too. Garbage. I can be sneaky and trick you, but I can set up traps. Garbage. All of these pale in comparison to the rogue not the rogue, the ranger sorcerer combo. This is literally the most powerful combo. Now, I'm gonna have someone saying like, actually, it's not. Actually, it's worse. But I don't care. When I use this, I felt powerful. But these classes are mediocre when they're on their own. So it's like it's kind of sad, you know. They're so incredibly powerful if they're combined, but no one ever combines them. They just play them separately. They either play a ranger or sorcerer, and they never really combine them, and it's kind of sad because they're missing out on a lot of fun. You know, people make fun of the ranger for being such a bad class and being like really good at like one thing in very specific scenarios, but I don't think that what people realize is that that's what all classes are about. They all specialize in one thing. Sure, some are better than others, like all these at the top, but like they all have specialization. Monk is all about like stunning strike, right? They all have like a defining ability. Wizard, the amount of spells they can get by finding someone's spell book and like copying it down to their own book. Clerics, the amount of spells they compare. And rogues, how many proficiencies and skills they have and how many different like tools and stuff they can use, right? And then the druid is really good with nature and chilling in there, but they're not really good in towns. The monk is extremely good with stunning strike, but on their own, they really can't pull off that much damage. Bard is a great support role like the cleric, but it's missing the most prepared spells, and it's just kind of lacking something. The fighter is an incredibly great class to start off with, but it's not a good class to get to level 20, because the level 20th ability sucks. It's like the perfect multi-classing class, and it's in the perfect middle spot. The barbarian is so amazing at doing damage and taking it, but that's about it. Ranged attacks? Not really. Two-handing weapons? Yeah, they can do that. Dual wielding? Yeah, they can do that if it's not dual wielding one ranged weapon in one hand and a normal weapon in the other. You know, it's just like dual wielding axes. Paladins are all about single target assassination and like helping your teammates and like undead stuff, right? But then they're not good when they're fighting multiple enemies. The warlock is just really strong in some circumstances, but some of the time they're just really underpowered and they don't have the completeness of the wizard or the cleric with their spells. They don't have 5 spell slots. Like, sure, you can use them at any level, so you can have 5 5th level spell slots, but like that's it. You can't cast 3rd level spells multiple times. Like, I don't know, you can't cast like a lot of spells, but you know, you have incantations, which make you extremely powerful. The ranger is all about tracking enemies and scouring through terrain, you know? I mean, I know they're represented by the bow and arrow, but like that's not their main weapon. I remember seeing somewhere that the main reason they're called a ranger is because they go across long terrains, not because of their bow and arrow. But you know, I use a bow and arrow for my ranger, and it's really fun. And when you spec into archery, it's even better. And then when you attack humanoids and you know that your DM's like really accommodating, or when you're in a swashbuckling adventure, let's just say with pirates and that stuff, and ranging across the ocean and coast and forests are really useful, you know? Ranger stops becoming a situational class and more of just a really good class that's at least up there with fighter. Sorcerer pales in comparison to the other spellcasters, like the druid, cleric, wizard, bard. They're all just better. Warlock, better. But sorcerers have some unique abilities that are really fun, and they're in the charisma pool. So like when you want to cast something, it's perfect for multi-classing, because everyone has a good charisma, you know? You always want a good charisma stat. But combining them can make some extremely powerful combos, right? So, you know, I kind of ranted on a long time about how situational every D&D class is and how we need to stop pretending like it's all about just which class is objectively better, because honestly, wizards suck on their own, clerics suck on their own, rogues are mediocre at best on their own, druids are like, they're okay on their own, but when they're put in the city, they're screwed. Monks are bad on their own. Bards are terrible on their own. Fighter is the only one that can stand on his own, because he can fit into everything. He's the jack of all trades, master of none. Right? He can wield every weapon. He can wear any armor type. He can do everything, basically. He's the only one that I think... Why am I saying he? It's the only class that I personally think can really, you know, what's it called? Excel on its own. Be good when it's a one-on-one session where the DM tells you what to do, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't use the other ones, except they're just worse in every way. Ranger compares to Fighter, barely. Fighter's the only one that stands on its own. But when you mix them together, they can become extremely powerful. Like, imagine this. You have a wizard in the back and the barbarian in the front, right? And then you have a fighter and a rogue right next to each other, right? Doing a lot of damage. A ranger in the back, sniping it with the bow and arrow. The sorcerer using its wild magic and being able to, like, bend its fireballs or lightning bolts around the thing, so it curves across all your friends, and then the wizard just doing a ton of damage with magic missile on the back. The bard providing support. The cleric being able to cast every spell that he wants at any time. The druid in the nature talking to the animals, trying to get them to help us. You know, the monk stunning the enemies, right? It's the paladin freaking assassinating it with the barbarian. The warlock just trying to cast Eldritch Blast. You know, they all have their own rules, and they're all really important. And instead of pretending that the ranger is the worst class in D&D, play it. It's fun. You like it. I'm new to D&D. I haven't played every class. I've never played a warlock, or a druid, or a bard. But I really like Ranger. He's one of my favorite characters that I made. But I will be. I'll play with my rogue. You know, just like that character I care about. It's not really original, but like it's good. So I hope you enjoyed this video of talking about the D&D classes, and yeah, see you all next time. By the way, I'm still working on the Dishonored video, so don't expect that. I'll try to get it out before the end of the year, right? But I just need a filler video, so I made this, and I